11 races down, 1 race remaining. This is the season closer for the ADAC GT4 Germany. Hello everybody, welcome to the Hockenheimring. Conditions are absolutely perfect for the final race of the season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. Yesterday we saw the new champions crowned Hugo Sasser and Mike David Ortmann taking the championship. They came home in 6th place and they scored enough points to make them unreachable. The only other driver coming into this weekend who could have caught them was Denis Bulatov. He finished in 2nd place. He did all that he could, but it wasn't enough. And it was Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sasser who became the first ever driver pairing to successfully defend the championship in the ADAC GT4 Germany. It is a series that has provided so much overtaking and entertainment in the 5 seasons that it has been running, and history was made yesterday. Simon Conner-Prim also became the junior champion, and he clinched that, so he cannot be caught anymore, and Marat Kyrov became the trophy champion. So we would say it's gloves off and they all are just racing for glory, but there is still the team championship that is up for grabs. Avia WNS Motorsport and Pro Sport Racing are separated by just 4 points, with Avia WNS Motorsport leading the way, but they have all 4 of their cars on the front row of the grid for this race, none more so than the number 30 car, which has been qualified by Hendrik Still, who starts on pole position. The new and defended champions, Mike David Ortmann, Hugo Sasser, with Mike David Ortmann, who did the qualifying this morning, starts on the front row alongside, and third on the grid, Janis Fitcher. He's just completed a race in the ADAC GT Masters, so he's had to jump from one car to the next. There is the championship winning, the number 1 car. They won it last year at this event, and they have successfully defended their championship. As already mentioned, the first driver pairing to ever do that. There is Janis Fitcher. He is sharing driving duties with David Yarn in the number 31 car. They've had a really good season. They were very much in the hunt for the championship, but a particularly difficult time at the Sachsenring has meant that they fell out of contention. Finn Zulauf starts 4th on the grid. He, along with Daniel Gregor, his co-pilot, have been something of a sensation this year. They won at the Lausitz Ring, and they have had a lot of people paying attention at their performance as they have moved on up through the points scoring. You also see Leo Pichler there in the number 32 car. He is guesting in an extra Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche and sharing with Nicholas Leutweiler in the number 32 car. And there is Philip Gogolog for Eastside Motorsport, the number 20 car. He shares that with Dominic Schack. Great to have Dominic Schack back on the grid after a very difficult time at the Sachsenring. There is the outgoing trophy champion, Tom Kiefer, along with Christian Koch for Team Allied Racing. They were in the hunt for the trophy championship up until yesterday, but now it is out of reach, and that has gone the way of Marat Kyrov. So the engines are running, the cars are lined up on the grid. It is the final race of the season, race 12 of a 12-race season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. We are at the Hockenheimring. A massive crowd has gathered here this weekend. Something in the region of 88,000 people have been here. Part of the ADAC DTM package. We have been entertained all weekend long. This circuit, which is 4.574 kilometers around with 17 turns, 9 to the right and 8 to the left. Plenty of overtaking opportunities, but the big one is into turn 6, the hairpin. It's a 180-degree turn, and they come out of the parabolica, which is turn 5, taken flat out under heavy braking into turn 6, creates great overtaking opportunities on the way in, also on the way out, but be careful, it is also the scene of many an accident over the years, so surviving that corner is a feat in itself. So the cars start on their formation lap in the evening sun here. We've got to get on with it because the light's starting to fade. Let's take a look at the grid for this race, and it's Henrik still on pole position for ADAC Motorsport. New champions, defending champions, Mike David Ortman alongside Janis Fischer and Finn Zulauf, another two ADAC Motorsport Porsches. You get the theme here, don't you? And on row 3 is Leo Pichler for ADAC and Eastside Motorsports, Philip Gogolok in the Mercedes. Row 4, Tom Kiefer and Josef Knott, BWT Motorsport in the Mercedes. Row 5, Leon Vasserthur and Gabriel Piana, and all Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport row. Denis Bulatov was a championship challenger, but not any longer, alongside Nicholas Perodati. And then Tom Wood from the UK and Stefan Bostanchiev lined up on row 7. Row 8, Tano Neumann was involved in an accident yesterday. Well, his co-driver was Joachim Bolting, and alongside him, there are the rest of the cars filing through the grid's positions. You can see them coming through. A number of very talented drivers. We're also looking down at the hairpin. That is the turn 6 that I was talking about. That is the great opportunity for overtaking. So the rest of the drivers scrolling through. The driver at the back of the pack, though, is the number 22 car, Nathan Schaap. And I was looking for, Simon Connor Prim, who had been involved in an accident this morning in qualifying. But they've got the car back together, we hope, but it isn't enough to get him back out on the grid. So such a shame, Simon Connor Prim, a big impact for the Mercedes during the qualifying session this morning. So formation lap underway, the car's up around turn 11 and out towards turn 12, and getting the heat into the tyres and into the brakes as we get ready for what will be 1 hour of racing. We had to shorten it a bit yesterday because of the fading light, but we've managed to get on with it, so we hope to bring you a full hour of racing here in the final race of the season, the ADAC GT4 Germany, race 12 of the 12 race season. So this critical moment to get the heat into the tyres and into the brakes, and then in a few moments the cars will grid up side by side. The safety car will disappear off into the distance, and we will be getting ready to go. Now, one of the issues has been track limits. Another one has been false starts. The drivers need to pass through their grid boxes before they start racing, so they cannot break formation too early. The stewards have been especially strict on that here this weekend and are looking out for it. The safety car is into the pit lane. Here comes Henrik Still on pole position. The new champion, Mike David Ortman, last year's champion, this year's champion, alongside, keep an eye on Janis Fischer behind on row 2 with Finn Zulauf. The lights go green. We are racing in the final race of the season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. It's Henrik Still who leads the pack into turn 1. The rest of the cars come filing through. Doesn't look to be too many dramas at the moment. It's 60 minutes plus 1 lap of racing. Into turn 2 we come. Henrik Still well ahead of Mike David Ortman. Lots of challenging for position further back. This is the tricky bit around turn 3 and 4. Then it's flat out along the Parabolica, riding on board with Denis Bulatov, the BCM Motorsport powered by Eastside Motorsport. In the fastest part of the track, absolutely foot to the floor. There's Stefan Bostanchiev on the inside, and Leon Vasserthur in the BMW now towards the hairpin. This is going to be the tricky bit. 3, 4 abreast. They're heavy braking. Can they all make it around? A little bit of contact from Leo Pichler going into the corner, but they all survive. Out of the hairpin they come. Well done, drivers. Good driving by everybody. Out towards turn 7 they come. The car's starting to stretch out. It's Henrik Still who leads away from Mike David Ortman and Finn Zulauf. Then the sharp turn to the left. The rest of the cars coming through. Great start from Still. Ortman just keeping it solid, keeping it all together. Everybody has made it round the first few corners, which is good news. Still the challenging for position, the opening section of the race, the great opportunity to make up places. Riding on board with Denis Bulatov, you can see how difficult it is with the sun shining in your eyes. but he continues on his way. The car's filing around turn 14 and 15, and then out towards turn 16 with a very slippery runoff area outside of turn 16. On the outside, that is Josef Knopp. Good qualifying from him as he challenges with car 23, but Stefan Bostanciev, he's made a really good start, so he's jumped up the order. It is Henrik Still who leads the way. Car 20 under investigation for a false start. We did say about that. Philip Gogolok may not have passed through his pit box, and he may well have a problem when the stewards take a look at that. There's a car ducking to the inside, challenging for position. One of the Porsches is Tano Neumann, who goes to the inside of Tom Wood in car number 15. The British driver, along with Mo Ritson, who share the driving duties of that car. Penalty lap for car 20 for a false start. And that is Nicholas Pertolate, who goes wide and rejoins but loses positions. Here comes our race leader into the hairpin. Henrik Still leading the way. Mike David Ortman, Finn Zulaf, good start up into third place ahead of Yanis Fitcher. So Fitcher down a position at the moment in the blue and white car. Then Philip Gogolok, who is going to have to serve a penalty lap. There is a box painted on the track on the exit of turn 6. Let's have a look here, see what happened. You can see he ducked out of line, exactly what he didn't need to do. And that is what has drawn the attention of the stewards. And they are now instructing him to visit the penalty box. He will have to pass through the penalty box at no more than 50 kilometers an hour. It is the equivalent to adding about 5 seconds onto the lap time, but with the cars so close together, that does mean he will lose a number of places. He has to take it within a couple of laps. As we watch Tom Wood coming under pressure in the number 51 car, Leon Vasserthura, BMW's running together. BMW's Vasserthura, Pertolate there as well. There is Tom Wood, so he's down into 17th place. So a bit of work to do there. He and Mo Ritson, who finished on the podium at the Sachsenring last time out, now trying to make the positions back out onto the pit straight. The drag race along over the start-finish line in towards the corner. So Tom Wood has lost places. Mex Janssen is the car that is running with him as they cross the line and out in towards turn 1. And now Tom Wood finding the places back. In the background, it is Fabian Volvend in the number 13 car. But look at this, Mex Janssen trying to come back around the outside. Tom Wood says, no, you're not coming through. Slams the door in his face and continues on his way. He's in 16th place at the moment, out of the points. But of course, with most of the championships decided, everything bar the team standings, these drivers are all racing for glory here in the final race of the weekend. And there is car 20 taking his penalty lap, and that will feel very painful indeed as Philip Gogolok gets back up to speed. The hazard lights indicate to the cars around that he is about to take that penalty lap. He rejoins somewhere in the region of Josef Knopp. So car 8 is there, and he's joined behind him. Also in there's Leon Vasserthura in car number 5. So he slots back in, but that is going to make it a long afternoon for him and his co-driver. Already trying to fight back. He looks to the inside going into the corner. Always a bit dangerous when you're in the middle of the pack. You can get caught up in other people's accidents and end up in the gravel track. Stefan Bostanciev, good solid drive at the moment, up to 9th place. He's got Leon Vasserthura for company. Ahead of him is Tom Kiefer in car 26. The Overdrive Racing Porsche trying to hold on at the moment, but the BMW has proven to be very strong here this weekend, and the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport, they now have to prepare them. He has a look to the inside of Stefan Bostanciev in towards turn 1, nothing doing there, then up into turn 2. Looking here down from the hairpin, and there was a car that went wide, and that might have been the number 54 car. Looked like that to me, just looking from the distance. Yes, it was. So that was Leighton Fury. Now, Leighton Fury and Max Osten, and they've got together there with the number 16 car as well. That is another of the FK Performance car being driven by Mikael Makash and Nick Wustenhagen. They are sharing the duties on that, with Wustenhagen at the wheel of it for this stint. But we saw Max Osten and Leighton Fury, the BMW M2 Cup champions of this year and last year. We saw them finish on the podium yesterday, but that was subsequently taken away when their car was deemed to have been underweight. So they were disqualified from yesterday's race, which was a massive disappointment. Now they are under investigation because of that incident that you saw with the number 16 car. So the stewards are taking a look at that. They might want to take a look at that. There is Stefan Bostanciev just shortening the track somewhat, so he managed to fend off the attentions of Leon Wasserthurer, but has he gained an advantage? Well, the stewards will have a look and decide whether there's anything to be done about it. Hendrick still leads the way, 53 minutes of the season remaining. Now, to remind you, there is a pit window that will open 25 minutes into the race, and it will remain open for 10 minutes. Within that 10-minute window, every car will be required to come into the pits for a mandatory stop and a driver change. So when the clock strikes 35, they will have to come in within the next 10 minutes. You can see confirmation there that car 16 has received a penalty lap for that incident that we saw. So it is Nick Wustenhagen who has to visit the penalty box as a result of the collision that we saw just now, and that will be the equivalent to adding 5 seconds to his time. There is a replay of Gabriel Piana at the wheel of the mighty BMW, and he moves up the order, making his move past the Porsche, and there is the number 19 Fabian, no, it's not Fabian Volven, car 19 going wide. Raphael Renhofer at the wheel of that one. He shares it with Marit Buchmann. It's Fabian Volven in the green number 13 car, the Aston Martin, who's just behind. But you can see him getting alongside Tom Wood, going wide onto the grass. He keeps his foot buried in it, tries to keep going, but loses a lot of ground having run wide, and did well just to keep it pointing forwards and not getting into the barrier or into a gravel trap. So Raphael Renhofer, who makes his debut in racing this year, certainly learning all about grass track racing as well as GT4 racing. So there is the number 9 car, Tano Neumann, in 13th place in the traffic at the moment. Tano Neumann didn't get to drive the car yesterday as a result of Joachim Bolting having a fairly sizable accident. They saw him in the gravel trap, and they're still driving as hard as you like. Philip Gogolok trying to make up for that penalty lap. We look back to Tano Neumann, who is under pressure from car number 8, which has been driven by Josef Knopp. So Josef Knopp trying to fight his way through the pack as well, but there's so much traffic. And there is Philip Gogolok. There was a bit of debris flying up in the air. Now that may have fallen off his car, and that is not going to help him whatsoever. The incident between car 19, Raphael Renhofer, and Tom Wood in car 15 is under investigation, so the stewards will be taking a look at that and deciding if there's any punishments to be dished out as we continue to watch Max Janssen in the number 34 car. He is working hard to try and find a route past Nicholas Peterlati in the number 3 BMW. It's BMW versus BMW, but they are fighting for what are relatively minor places, the last of the points playing places. Black and white flag has been shown to Tom Wood in car 15 for forcing another driver off the track. That isn't a penalty, as we see car 3 going deep into the braking area. Nicholas Peterlate just out braking himself. The black and white flag is not a penalty, but it is a warning that any behaviour that resembles that in the future will result in a penalty incoming. So Tom Wood survives to fight another day, but now Fabian Volven also getting involved in the green Aston Martin, so she's in there as well. Raphael Renhofer at the back of that queue. Behind them is Enzo Juli in the number 35 Volkenhorst Motorsport BMW. Also, there's Ivan Ekoshik. He was so impressive yesterday. He has really found some speed this year, waiting at the back of that queue. But at the front of it at the moment, it is Tom Wood in 18th place, but he has been going the wrong way down the pack, so he needs to gather himself up and try and push forwards, riding on board with Gabriel Piana, the former champion in the ADAC GT4 Germany. He won it in 2021. Currently in 4th place. Ahead of him is Finn Zulauf in the Porsche. So fighting as they do out towards turn 2. He has a look on the inside, being careful not to make any contact. There is a gap there, but the inside becomes the outside, so he's hung out a little bit. Finn Zulauf holds on to it, but now they will come out along towards turn 5 as somebody in the background picks up a lot of dirt, manages to keep it all going, no problems there. But now towards the hairpin they come, the flat out section, then the heavy braking. Piana looks to be just a little bit too far back at the moment to make a move. Just ahead of Zulauf is Mike David Altman in a fairly solid second place. He's 2.3 seconds back from our race leader, Hendrik Still. We've got another 8, oh gosh, I'll do the maths here a little while, yeah, 13 minutes, there we go, before the pit window opens, and then the drivers will need to consider when they come in within that pit window for the driver change. Stefan Bostanciev continues in 10th place. Behind him, Philip Gogolok, who's done a bit of grass chat racing. This is the fight that's been going on. Tom Wood, the meter, the sandwich, cuts bangs the inside. Rafael Renhofer, the loser, there. Also involved is the 35 car. He's there as well. Mex Janssen, Enzo Juli in the 35. So they're running all together. Lots of changes and challenges for position. And it is Tom Wood advantage at the moment, but it's not been the best race for him. He needs to gather it up. He's now managed to break clear of Fabian Volvin's Aston Martin. Rafael Renhofer can see his teammate up ahead, both of them running for Pro Sport Racing. He would dearly love to get past. There is Stefan Bostanciev going wide. He's in 10th place at the moment. Philip Gogolok, well, he has found a route to try and get past. He's done that. So Philip Gogolok moving up through the order. This is the challenge to Finn Zulauf for Gabriel Piana. This is for 3rd place. 75 versus car 2. Gabriel Piana, former champion, knows exactly what he's doing. Finn Zulauf, a real superstar in ADAC GT4 Germany, along with his co-driver Daniel Gregor along the Parabolica. Now, doesn't feel as though Gabriel Piana quite has the legs to do anything about it. Not last time around. He has a look to the inside, but the Porsche appears to have the power into the corner, but this time goes deep. Gabriel Piana to the inside now. The drag race out towards turn 7, but Piana gets the job done. He moves across, slams the door in the face of car 75. Piana is through into a podium position. He is up into that 3rd place. Ahead of him is Mike David Altman, who is about 1.2 seconds ahead at the start of the lap. You can see again, he has a look to the inside, really distracts Finn Zulauf, who goes deep into the braking area, then goes wide out of the hairpin, and at that point Gabriel Piana says, yeah, I'll have some of that, thank you very much. Comes through and steals the position away. Stefan Bostanciev finding out how slippery the drag strip is. You can see the shiny surface, lots of circles there. We've had donuts and GT Masters and DTM here this weekend, but Stefan Bostanciev practicing a bit of drifting. It's all very impressive, looks good, but not the quickest way round the track, and he loses more places as he goes around. He's down into 15th place now. Mex Janssen, Nicholas Pertolate is behind him at the moment, but pushing hard, Stefan Bostanciev. So if the race finishes as it is at the moment, well, Bulatov still has that solid 2nd place. Sasson Orman have the lead. David Jan and Yanis Fitcher would be in 3rd place ahead of Simon Conoprim. To remind you, Simon Conoprim and Jan Philipp Springhoff are not running in this race. Simon had a fairly sizable accident in qualifying this morning, and they are not able to take part in this race. So their 4th place is as good as they can possibly get. We ride on board with Denis Bulatov. We can see him there, and he doesn't look as though he is running as hard as he might be doing. So car number 4 looks like, has he got a problem? It's in 7th place at the moment, so all looking good at the moment, but certainly looks like a bit of frustration in his eyes as we look at him in the driving seat. Cars going wide out of the hairpin, the sunshine shining in the number 66 car. That is Philip Viskersion for ME Motorsport, and great to have ME Motorsport on the grid, making a guest appearance here in the ADAC GT4 for the season closer. Hopefully we're going to see them again next season, challenging Josef Knopp in the number 8 car. Josef Knopp in 13th place. but now it is Viskursen who is coming under pressure from him. Ahead of them is Josef Knopp. The car's lining up behind though. Stefan Bostanchev has gathered it all up. He's into 17th place, but a bit of work to do from there just to get back in the points. The same can be said for Tom Wood. He's not having the rub of the green here, is he? He's down to 20th place, has fallen into the clutches of even Ekelschik and Enzo Juli. So the number 15 car not as dialed in as he would like it to be. They finished on the podium last time out at the Sachsenring, but a podium is going to feel like a dim and distant memory at the moment. So Tom Wood continuing in that 20th place. The British duo drivers have a strong and vocal fan club, but at the moment they're not getting anything to cheer about as they head out towards turn 1. There is Fabian Volvend in car number 13, part of an all-female lineup in that car. Josef Knopp has Philip Viskursen now with him and is going to be under pressure. That Mercedes looking vulnerable to the BMW. Mike David Ortmann challenging for position, and Gabriel Piana. So Piana did get a nose a little bit in front, but Mike David Ortmann comes back, holds on to that second place. This is allowing Hendrik Still to escape further up the road. A 3.2-second gap to the leader. So Gabriel Piana now finds a route past Mike David Ortmann. Ortmann trying to find a route back past him. Hendrik Still in the distance up ahead. So Gabriel Piana has always been very rapid. A former champion and a current champion running together in second and third place. It was into the hairpin. Mike David Ortmann, he just went very deep into the corner, left a gap on the inside, but then Gabriel Piana outbraked himself into the hairpin. So you can see Ortmann going to the left. He left a gap on the inside, went deep into the corner, but then cut back in, had the momentum out of the hairpin towards turn 7, but then Gabriel Piana able to come back at him around the outside and take that position away. That's a replay for some different angles. The hairpin always provides entertainment here in the ADAC GT4 Germany. So the replay then of Gabriel Piana coming back. Mike David Ortmann once again leaving a big gap on the inside. This time Piana goes sailing through and Ortmann has nothing that he can do about it at the moment. Of course, this may all change because we are 6.5 minutes away from the pit window opening. It'll be different drivers, in some cases less experienced drivers, taking the seats of cars, and that can really change the order around. Hendrik Still, though, has this under control at the moment. 3.1 seconds, so Gabriel Piana is starting to wind him in, having dispatched Mike David Ortmann. Finn Zulauf still in 4th place ahead of Janis Fitcher, and then Leo Pichler and Dennis Bulatov, Tom Kiefer, Leon Wasserthurer, Tano Neumann rounding out the top 10. You can see the gap there between 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So 2nd to 4th running almost together on the track, but the leader has got a good gap at the moment. Might want to stay out late when the pit window opens. The very entertaining Leon Wasserthurer now challenging Tom Kiefer for position. So this is for 8th place. So Wasserthurer has been a real entertainer in this race. Car number 5, Leon Wasserthurer at the wheel. We've seen him in other brands in the past, but he's really taken to this BMW, the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport car. He now challenges Tom Kiefer in front of him. Tom Kiefer, who shares the driving duties with Christian Koch, the outgoing trophy champion, looking vulnerable to the mighty BMW in that 8th place. I have to say, Kiefer having one of his best races of the year so far, but now is going to be relegated down a position surely. Out of 17 they come along the pit straight. It's absolutely flat out in the background. Tano Neumann also in the trophy category, but he's a long way back, so no risk of losing position there. And Philip Gogelok, what an entertainer he's been, fighting his way back from the early penalty to try and move his way forwards. To the inside goes Wasserthurer. He sees a gap and he's through into 8th place, and that looks pretty solid. I don't think Kiefer has got anything that he can respond with as they come along the parabolica. It's not going to stop him trying though, is it? They run side by side. What do I know? Absolutely nothing. Kiefer gets his nose in front and then goes to shut the door. So Leon Wasserthurer had made the move stick. Now under braking, the BMW will have their tighter line. Kiefer now has to submit that position. Great stuff there. What a fight back from Tom Kiefer. Leon Vassar threw him into that 8th place. But still, Tom Kiefer hasn't given up yet, has he? Great stuff. Now, in towards the turn 8. And the BMW in front. He needs to be careful not to make any mistakes, or the 26 car is going to be there to steal the position away. Team Allied Racing's number 26 with Tom Kiefer and Christian Koch sharing the driving duties. Jan Kaspelik, a former champion in ADAC GT4 Germany, who runs that team, does a great job and prepares that car. Very rapid cars indeed, ahead of Tano Neumann in the 10th place. So Henrik still, there he is. Now the gap is down to 2.895. At least it was last time. It's 2.3. So Gabriel Piana has taken half a second out of the leader. There is Olaf Mantai. He is celebrating this weekend. He's just secured the championship in the team and the drivers in the DTM this weekend. His driver, Thomas Preining, who we have seen in GT Masters as well, who clinched the DTM championship this weekend. So he has been enjoying the racing here. Very much our focus, though, back to the ADAC GT4 Germany. There was an investigation between Philip Gogelok, the man who's been in all the action, and Tano Neumann, but there is no further action to be had there. So they are able to continue in the positions they are in. There is the aforementioned Tano Neumann, and there is the aforementioned Philip Gogelok running in 10th and 11th place. We look down in the evening sun, the autumn sunshine here at the Hockenheimring in the hairpin turn 6 of the circuit. The car's filing around. Stefan Bastanchev, who's had a fairly lively race, currently down in 16th place. Behind him is Josef Knopp and Raphael Renhofer in the number 19 car. So they were running together for a while. Even Eckelchick is there. Tom Wood has, well, his backward progress has stopped at 20th. He now needs to reverse it and try and move forwards before he hands over to Mo Ritson, his co-driver. Henrik still leading the way. Gabriel Piana taking chunks out of it. So the last lap, he was quicker by about 0.3 of a second. And still make that 0.5 of a second. So Gabriel Piana closing in very rapidly on the race leader. I expect that Piana will want to stay in the seat of that car as late as possible before he hands it over to the less experienced Marat Kairov. Kairov, who has the trophy championship in hand, but is still a lot less experienced than Gabriel Piana. There is our race leader running very wide and still pushing as hard as he can. Needs to be careful, don't exceed track limits, otherwise the stewards will get involved and any chance of a victory may be stolen away. Henrik still leading the way ahead of Gabriel Piana. The champion, Mike David Ortman, in 3rd place. Down towards the hairpin we come once again. We mentioned it before, as they come out of the hairpin, they're running directly into the sun. And with the Perspex windscreens in these cars, the light can diffuse and it can be quite blinding with the sun so low in the sky at this time of year. So an additional challenge for these drivers, and that is Enzo Juli having an additional challenge as he comes out of turn 17 on the grass, does a bit of drifting combined with grass track racing, the Volkenhorst Motorsport BMW sliding around. He manages to keep it all together, but that would not have been the quickest way around that corner, that is for sure. There is Stefan Bastanchev in 16th place. Behind him, challenges for position. That is Josef Knopp, Raphael Renhofer. Feels like they've been together for a while in this race. The pit window is open, so it's at this point of the race where the window will remain open for 10 minutes and every car will need to visit the pit lane. There is a minimum pit stop time of 95 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. The drivers must not go below that 95 seconds, otherwise there will be a penalty incoming. Now Mike David Ortman has decided to pull the trigger early, as has Finn Zulauf. So 3rd and 4th place into the pits. They're going to try and get out on some open track. So Hugo Sasser, the other of the championship duo, poised and ready to jump in. Finn Zulauf will be handing over to the very impressive Daniel Gregor. So there is Hugo Sasser. He helps Mike David Orman out of the car. He's rehearsed that and done that for real so many times. He now jumps behind the wheel of the Pro Sport Racing Aston Martin. Mike David Orman's duties are done for 2023, and he can now exit the car, and he leaves it over to Hugo Sasser to get the job done and to bring it home in a podium position. You can see the clock ticking down. That indicates the minimum pit stop time. They need to get to the line after, or at least on, the period where the clock strikes zero. If they get there before it strikes zero, there may well be a penalty incoming. We said that Zulauf was handing over to Daniel Gregor, and there is Daniel Gregor in the Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche. Janis Fitcher is in. He's handing over to David Yarn. Also, Nathan Schaap in the 22 Allied Racing, handing over to Alex Hartvig. Stefan Bostanchev, he's had enough for this year. He's handing over to Pavel Lefterov, and his driving duties are done in the GT4 for 2023. Now, Hugo Sasser gets the Aston Martin rolling, keeping to the speed limit. He'll want to hit the pit line, the exit line, when the clock strikes zero. So 5, 4, 3, there's the line, 2, 1. Bang, that was very good. You think they might have rehearsed that a few times. 0.3 of a second over Daniel Gregor, David Yarn. That's a lot of calculations and rehearsals for that, but good job done. When thousandths of a second count in lap time, you don't want to be shedding time unnecessarily in the pits, but it's how close dare you run it to zero, because you cannot risk getting to the line early. You're not allowed to stop or slow down in the pit lane either. So once you're rolling, you're kind of committed. You can adjust the speed slightly, but you can't make a stop or go crawling in the pit lane to get to the 0 point on the clock. Denis Bulatov into the pits, handing over to Mark Di Fulgentio, who has taken over from Marcel Lenez, who was doing the other driving stint in that car for the first part of the season. But now it's Mark Di Fulgentio, while Marcel Lenez recovers from illness. So Di Fulgentio been doing a good job, but it wasn't enough to be able to get the winner's trophy to Denis Bulatov. Just listening in, and okay, can't hear what they're saying, but Denis Bulatov just imparting any information that needs to be had. The teams are limited as to how many crew members are allowed to work on the car. Of course, no tyre changes or anything like that. And now they get to the net put across. Denis Bulatov, his body language doesn't say euphoria particularly. It looked like he might have been struggling before the pit stop. You can see that we have had 5 cars that have completed their pit stops, 3 in. So also in Tim Reiter, handing over to Leon Vasserthura, Damon Sazishin, who is handing over to Yevgen Sokolovsky. At least reverse that. Sokolovsky handing over to Sazishin, and it is Leon Vasserthura handing over to Tim Reiter. So they are in the pits and they rejoin. The green P means that all is well, and they have not gone below the minimum pit stop time. Here is our race leader, Henrik Stell. Look who's in his mirrors. Gabriel Piana, while we've been looking at that, has closed in, and he is now flashing his lights, trying to distract him. Gabriel Piana, who will probably want to stay out in this car for certainly another 5 minutes or so. We're right on board there with him, and look at the view from the perspective of Gabriel Piana. But Henrik Stell leading this race in car number 13, one of the 4 Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche 718 Caymans. But Piana wants to get the job done before he comes into the pits and hands it over to his co-driver. So Henrik Stell leading, Gabriel Piana in second, Leo Pichler is up into 3rd place. For the other Avia WNS and Motorsport cars as a result of the cars around him stopping. Philip Viskersen up into 4th. He's having a good race, isn't he? Philip Gogolok, the man who has been in all the action, is in 5th ahead of Nicholas Pirtolati in the number 3 car. You can see more cars now in Tom Kiefer, Tanner Neumann, Max Janssen, Lachlan Robinson in the number 18 car. So he will be handing over to Emil Yedrum. We haven't even spoken about Lachlan Robertson this weekend, but been great to have him in his first ever car races. Last time we saw him at the Hockenheimring, and now his second race weekend, and has had a baptism of fire, but has coped with it well. Also car 16 into the pits as well. So Nick Wustenhagen handing over to Mikael Makesh, the driver who was alongside Max Osten for most of this season up until this weekend. On board with Gabriel Piana in second place as he hones in on race leader Henrik Still. He has a look to the outside into turn 2. Henrik Still has it under control at the moment, but now the fast part of the track, there is Mark Di Fulgentio just ahead of them. So Henrik Still will want to clear Di Fulgentio, but that BMW is bearing down on him hard along the Parabolica, flat out. The Porsche able just to stretch his legs a little bit, but there is the traffic in front. Di Fulgentio, of course, who has stopped already, but now to the inside, to the outside goes Henrik Still. To the inside goes Gabriel Piana, outfoxing the Porsche once again, but again, it is the drag race, and again, it is the Porsche that seems to have the legs at the moment. This time, it's Henrik Still that Gabriel Piana is battling with. So Gabriel Piana's had a few rehearsals to this already, hasn't he? Into the traffic up ahead they come. 3 minutes remaining of the pit window. Philip Viskersen is in, Nicholas Piertalati, Max Wimmer, Fabian Volved all coming in to hand over to their co-drivers. But still, these cars remain out on track, deciding to go late into the window. Gabriel Piana has a look to the inside. There's going to come a point where he wants to bail out and come into the pits, but that point is not quite yet. He looks to the inside. There's a gap there. The gap disappears to nothing. Henrik Still being as defensive as he dare. Look at the slide around the corner. Gabriel Piana drifting the BMW. There may have been the slightest of contact, and into the pits comes our race leader, Henrik Still, getting ready to hand over to Max Kronberg. So keeping to the speed limit. That was dramatic. Our new race leader, Gabriel Piana, but remember, he has to make a mandatory stop, and that will have to come within the next 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So to a stop comes Henrik Still. Max Kronberg comes rushing out, helps his teammate out of the car, and in will get Max Kronberg, ADAC WNS Motorsport. Let's have another look here. So it was coming into 16, and yes, there was the slightest contact because it was Henrik Still who was choosing to come into the pits. He ducked back in, trying to keep as much speed as possible. So there was that little tag, a little bit of a drifting, some bodywork went flying. Now whether that affects the speed of the cars or not remains to be seen. This is what it looked like from Gabriel Piana's perspective. Yeah, all that practicing on the skid pad has paid off, hasn't it? So he, well, doesn't look like there's any drama. Most of the damage seems to have been done to the front left-hand corner of that BMW. You can see the paintwork is damaged. Fortunately, I don't think there's any bodywork rubbing on a wheel or anything like that. There's also an incident under investigation between cars 6 and 22. So that would be Nicola Moller Madsen, as we look at another Hofer racer by Bonk Motorsport cars, getting down and dirty with it, and also Alex Hartvig. So those are 2 drivers that are under investigation for an incident. Now into the pits comes Gabriel Piana. The pit window will be closing. He stayed out as late as he can. He wouldn't be able to get another lap in. So everybody who hasn't pitted will need to come in now. That is everybody that has come into the pits or is doing so. So Gabriel Piana, the clock is ticking down that 90 seconds, which feels like an eternity. Behind him is the Sami Matti Trogan car, was that came out, certainly one of the BMWs. Right, here is Gabriel Piana, Marat Kairov, the new trophy champion, who prepares himself to jump into the driver's seat. He has been mentored and tutored by Gabriel Piana, and has got quicker and quicker this season. Certainly a lot less experienced, but Gabriel Piana coaching his co-driver Marat Kairov as he tries to improve, and has improved as he's picked up that trophy championship. There is car number 30. So where is he? He's around turn 10 at the moment. So where will he be? Max Kronberg in relation to Marat Kyrov. This is the view from Marat Kyrov. So out towards turn 12 comes Max Kronberg at the moment. But of course, the clock has to tick down. Still 26, 25 seconds to Kyrov hits the pit exit. So I think for my money, I think Max Kronberg may well be able to retake the lead, but it's gonna be close, isn't it? Now into 16 comes Max Kronberg. Kyrov will be desperate to get rolling. Maybe he's done enough. Out onto the pit straight comes Max Kronberg. Past the pits he comes. They're gonna arrive in turn 1 at roughly the same time. Here we come, the pit exit. We're looking at turn 1. There is Kronberg, there is Kyrov. They come out almost side by side, and it's gone the way of Max Kronberg. He retakes the lead of this race, car number 30, and it is Marat Kyrov down into second place with the pit stop sequences done. Hugo Sassa retains the 3rd place, and Daniel Gregor retains the 4th place. David Yarn up into 5th, Mark Di Fulgentio into 6th place, and Nicky Leutwiler, good job from him, in 7th place in car number 32. So really good job there for Nicky Leutwiler as he fights his way forwards, although Tim Reiter had something to say about that and is trying to fight with him for that position. 7th and 8th running together, so Tim Reiter trying to come back at Leutwiler, but Leutwiler has the position, so Leutwiler through into 7th place. Here comes Reiter though, dive bomb into the hairpin. He comes out in the BMW in front of the Porsche and steals the position away. It's 7th place for Tim Reiter, and Leutwiler down into 8th place. 22 3/4 minutes remaining of this 2023 season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. Sadly, Leighton Fury has retired to the pits, so clearly some issues there. So we've lost him on his debut weekend. Having another look at that move down on the hairpin, the overtaking for turn 7. A great bit of braking from car number 5 with Tim Reiter at the wheel. He gets the thing slowed down and steals the position away. BMW versus Porsche, we've seen that a few times already in this race. So Max Kronberg leads the way. Marat Kyrov keeping him in sight. Now he's going to be taking all the lessons that Gabriel Piana has taught him and trying to put them to good use as he tries to find out how he can get past Max Kronberg. Looking rapid, Kyrov, I think it's fair to say, wasn't especially rapid at the start of the season, but has improved so much as the season has gone on, has got quicker and quicker to the extent that he's been able to take the trophy championship and now is challenging the big guns in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Max Kronberg is one of those cars that he's challenging for the lead. In towards the hairpin they come once again. 21.5 minutes remaining, fighting further back. That is car 3. It is Matthias Nuramo who gets into the side of car 6, Nikolai Moller-Madsen. So some panel bashing going on there. They all managed to survive it. So it is Matthias Nuramo who came out on top of that particular challenge. In there, Nicola Moller-Madsen in the orange and white Porsche. Also, there is Joachim Bolting, like he hasn't had enough action already this weekend. And the number 19 with Marit Bockman at the wheel. Marit Bockman, who's taken over from Leon Erger in the driving seat of that car for this weekend. Ahead of him, Rodrigo Almeida. He has taken over the number 8 BWT car from Josef Knopp. And looking to the outside is the number 19 car, but he can't quite make it stick. So Marit Bockman. Now, look at this. 3 abreast coming into the corner. That almost ended in tears, didn't it? But Matthias Nuramo survives, keeps it all together. And the number 20 car once again going wide, this time in the hands of Dominic Schack. And there is a car slowing, so we've got full course yellow that has just come out. We're looking at drama on the hairpin, so the full course yellow is out. Now that might just be for debris on the tracks. I don't think there are any cars that are stationary. There's certainly likely to be a fair amount of debris because we've seen a fair bit of contact here. That is Celia Martin, who's got together with Emil Yedrum and the BWT Motorsport Mercedes. And the two cars have made pretty heavy contact. A good job from Emil Yedrum to keep it going, because that was a proper T-bone. But he keeps the wheels spinning. He points it in the right direction. Celia Martin helps him to get straightened up. The incident is under investigation. I think there's debris all around the circuit, which is why we've got the full course yellow. So the full course yellow means that the cars can run at no more than 80 kilometers an hour. That might be the reason. So they're not allowed to close gaps up. It's like the race has been neutralized. The gaps remain the same. The clock keeps ticking, but this gives the marshals an opportunity to pick up debris such as this, which might cut a tire and cause a bigger accident. So the race is neutralized. This gives us an opportunity with less than 19 minutes remaining just to take stock. It is Max Kronberg who leads the way in the number 30 Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche, ahead of Marat Kairov, who's taken over from Gabriel Piana. Hugo Sasser, last year's and also this year's brand new champions in the ADAC GT4 Germany in the last of the podium positions. Daniel Gregor is only half a second behind, so probably fancies his chances at a podium. The crew picking up the debris, and then Mark Di Fulgentio and David Yarn. David Yarn in 5th, Di Fulgentio in 6th. In 7th place, it's Tim Reiter, and then it's Nicky Leutweiler in 8th place. And you can see there's been an awful lot of contact up and down the pack here. We like to see door handle racing. Nikolai Moller-Madsen getting firmly stuck into the side of Rodrigo Almeida, and coming around the outside, Marek Bockman. So the race staff around the track, the marshals, who do such a good job. They've had a busy weekend. They've retrieved the debris. You can see the points championship. So Sasser and Ortman in that first place, and Dennis Bulatov will finish in 2nd. Yarn and Fitcher will get that 3rd place. Simon Conoprim not in this race. Full course yellow is about to end. It said it was ending in 10 seconds. That was about 10 seconds ago. So Max Kronberg back on the power. Marat Kairov having a bit of a slide out the 16 and 17 out onto the pit straight. So the race is back underway. Hugo Sasser in the background. Well, he will be. There he is. And Daniel Gregor. We'll keep an eye on that one. David Yarn also there in the very rapid Porsche. They will be looking to close up and steal the last of the podium positions. Nikolai Moller-Madsen, who has been in the wars all race long, has gone wide. Now, whether this is for retirement, he was showing in 17th place. He took over from Ivan Ekoshik. The former champion rejoins, but he's seen an awful lot of cars go past. We're looking again, Uramo there in the background. Nikolai Moller-Madsen going through the gravel trap. He keeps it moving. A penalty lap has been awarded to Celia Martin for causing a collision in car 13. So she will have to visit the penalty box, and that will be the equivalent of adding the 5 seconds on to her time. Currently in 22nd place in the Pro Sport Aston Martin, but that will drop her a lot further back still. There is the 23 car. Pavel Leftrov took over from Stefan Bostanchev, has been moving forwards. Looks to the outside of Christian Koch, trying to go the long way round, maybe cut back to the inside on their hairpin. Porsche versus Porsche, they run side by side. Pavel Lefterov trying to come back from what has been a very difficult start to the race. He eases in front of car 26 to steal that position away. And Pavel Lefterov up into 11th place, relegating Christian Koch. Next up ahead of them, Nico Hanska in the BMW. There is about 15 minutes, just over 15 minutes remaining. Still, lots of action up and down the pack. Everybody fighting for positions. The only championships that are still up for grabs, as I already mentioned, are the team standings. At the moment, it will go the way of Avia WNS Motorsport if the race finishes as it is. They are just ahead by 4 points from Pro Sport Racing, and if they can win this race, they will take the team championship as well. Everybody else fighting for glory. We've lost Leighton Fury. We've now lost Nikolai Moller-Madsen as well as he peels off into the pits. Such a shame to lose car number 6. His 2023 season has come to a close. Less than quarter an hour remaining of this race, and we continue to focus on the battles up and down the pack. Nico Hanke and also Nicky Leutwiler running together. That is 9th place. So Hanke is through. Leutwiler relegated down in this, his first race in the GT4 Germany this year. Rodrigo Almeida and Marit Bachmann. So Marit Bachmann, who has parachuted into the seat of the number 19 Pro Sport Racing Aston Martin for this event, has been enjoying it very much. He'll enjoy it even more if he can get past Rodrigo Almeida. Looking down again at the hairpin. The challenge for position to the inside goes Marit Bachmann, and through to steal the position away. That is 13th place, but Rodrigo Almeida looks like he's going to try and fight back. Still, it is Pavel Lefterov trying to push his way through the field. Here is Rodrigo Almeida again. Looks to the outside of the Aston Martin into turn 8. But can't make a move stick. Not really a passing position here, but maybe he'll try and get a run at him along the pit straight into turn 1, or maybe on the exit of 4 towards the Parabolica. But that Aston Martin has been looking very rapid, having found the route past. So Marit Bachmann in car number 19 in that 13th place. In the background, it is Matthias Nuaramo in the number 3 car, and he pushes just a little bit too hard, and it's Rodrigo Almeida who spins. He's able to avoid getting collected by anybody, but he rejoins and loses a whole host of places. He looked to the inside, under braking. I don't think there was any contact. Fairly banked corner, that is, on the exit of turn 13 and 14. The back end just stepping out on the Mercedes. Unfortunately, the BMW behind is able to take avoiding action, so no dramas there. But Rodrigo Almeida, well, he'll put that one down to experience and carry along on his way. Black and white flag, well, that was awarded to Nikolai Moller-Madsen, but that doesn't mean anything now, especially as he has retired. Also, car number 3 was awarded a black and white flag, Matthias Nuaramo, and that was for causing a collision with car number 9, which was Joachim Bolting. No such problems for Max Kronberg. He is a little over 12 minutes away from the win of this race in car number 30. It would be the first win of the season for Max Kronberg in car number 30 if he could keep it there. Marat Kairov looks to have settled in 2nd place. Hugo Sassa in 3rd. Has David Yarn bearing down on him, and behind David Yarn is Daniel Gregor. So I think the 3rd place is still very much up for grabs, but 1st and 2nd looking quite solid at the moment. The rest of the cars continuing to follow through, avoiding all the debris. And Max Kronberg at the front continues to stretch his legs. So 11.5 minutes remaining of the season. ADAC GT4 Germany. We continue to focus on some of the minor positions, and it is Rodrigo Almeida who had that moment, now having to fight back. Up ahead of him is Eric Scalvini. Eric, who was running in the TCR category, TCR Germany, and he is there scrapping for position, although it is out of the points. Behind them is Mo Ritson, taken over from Tom Wood, but still in that 20th place. And that is for position. Christian Koch and Nicky Leutwiler going side by side. So Christian Koch trying to move forwards into 11th place. So Leutwiler coming under pressure. The two identical cars running together out on the track. and still they remain as they are. Bumping over the curbs, car 26, Christian Koch using all of the track and a little bit more as he tries to find a route past, being careful of track limits. There is the second place, Marat Kairov. And he is in that solid second place. If Max Kronberg can finish this race in the lead and to win this race, it will be, from my reckoning, his first ever win in the ADAC GT4 Germany, and it will be the first win for Hendrik Still as well. His best has been a fourth place up until now, so they will be very keen to stay in that position. This is the fight for sixth. Mark Di Fulgentio and Tim Reiter running together. David Jahn has found a route past Daniel Greger. Jahn closing in on Hugo Sasser, but it is a car that has gone spinning there. Car 32, Nicky Leutwiler out of 11th place, loses it. He regathers it, rejoins the race. Nuramo going around the outside of him, but it's dropped him a few positions. It looks as though he's escaped the damage. Let's have a look here. Was there contact or did he lose it? Similar position to the Rodrigo Almeida moment, and there may have been the slightest tap between the two cars. The car does a bit of a tank slapper. It rejoins, but loses a whole load of space on the track. Looking out towards the battle for 13th place. That is Matthias Nuramo. Behind him, Alex Hartwig. Also, Sami Matti Trogan in car 35. Nicky Leutwiler, having had that moment, rejoins ahead of Joachim Bolting, Eric Scalvini, Rodrigo Almeida, another one who's had that moment. Mo Ritson, he'll be disappointed with 20th place, having taken over from Tom Wood. The light is starting to fade here at the Hockenheimring, so we still have 8.5 minutes, so no problems there. Great that you can see the brake disc glowing in the twilight of the evening. Hugo Sasser is starting to feel the pressure. Both these drivers, David Jahn and Hugo Sasser, have run in the ADAC GT Masters. David Jahn, a very experienced GT driver, now up to that third place. Hugo Sasser, Mike David Allman would dearly love to finish on the podium in this, their second consecutive championship year, the last race of the season. But David Jahn looking to relieve him of that. Yanis Fischer, his co-pilot, did all the hard work qualifying the car, and Yanis Fischer handed it over to David Jahn. Daniel Greger, though, discount him at your peril. He is in the background, ready to pounce. There is first, second, third, fourth and fifth, so all almost within sight. Tim Reiter in sixth place, a little way back. Then Mark Di Fulgentio, and then the number 66 car of Marcus Aichela. And that is the view. Hugo Sasser, as we see him flicking through the gears, adjusts the helmet strap a little bit in third place, gearing himself up, trying to stay where he is for 7.25 minutes plus 1 lap in that third place, defending the last of the podium positions. David Jahn, what has he got that he can do about the rapid Aston Martin in front of him? Still Max Kronberg out in front. The battling for the last of the podium positions is what is occupying our attention at the moment. There is our race leader, Max Kronberg. Seems to have Marat Kairov pegged back, but good job for Marat Kairov. It's 1.9 seconds. You can see how hard David Jahn is pushing. You saw how wide he went out of the corner. Car 3 is Matthias Nuramo in 13th place, with Alex Hartwig behind. The 22 car driven by Alex Hartwig and Nathan Schatt. Two very rapid drivers. We've been told to look out for them because they are coming on through the ranks. Really good drivers, learning every race. Sami Matti Trogan in the last of the points paid positions in 15th place, just behind them. So 13th place looking under threat. Matthias Nuramo, who shares with Nicholas Pietalate in the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport car. The car is identical to the second place car that's been driven by Marat Kairov. So still, he fends off the car behind. Hartwig looking to a different line out of the corner into turn 16 and then up to 17, being very careful not to run wide. That drag strip is so slippery on the outside. Out onto the pit straight they come once again. The fight for 13th place continues. It is Matthias Neuramo, Alex Hartvig, Sami Matti Trogan. Trogan has a little look to the inside of the Porsche. He goes to shut the door. Trogan moves to the outside. Hartvig is wise to it. So Trogan having a little look round the outside and now drifting, and Hartvig just holding on to that position, and Trogan has to drop back. The slide of the BMW. Then just ahead, Matthias Neuramo is able to break clear whilst these two cars are fighting each other. Then Neuramo is able to break clear. Still, Hugo Sassa is keeping David Yarn at bay. Less than 5 minutes of the season remaining. Keep an eye on Daniel Gregor. He's up into 5th place and he has closed in. He is a teammate to David Yarn, but he would dearly love to get past him. He'd dearly love to get past Hugo Sassa as well and get himself on the podium in this, which has been such a great year for Daniel Gregor and his teammate Finn Sulauf. There is Hugo Sassa holding it all together as he has done all season long with Mike David Orman, his co-driver. They sealed the Drivers' Championship yesterday, so today they are running just for glory. Although, having said that, Pro Sport Racing were 4 points behind in the team championships coming into this race. But with ADAC WNS Motorsport leading the way, that gap is going to extend, and it will be the team championship that will go to ADAC WNS once this race is done. Max Kronberg still leading the way. Less than 4 minutes remaining, plus 1 lap of this race. Joachim Bolting, lots of pressure for him. Behind is Eric Scalvini and Rodrigo Almeida coming back. The moment that he had earlier on doesn't seem to have slowed him down at all. He looks to the inside of the Porsche. Scalvini moves across to shut the door, but Rodrigo tries to give his nose in. Look at Mo Ritson sliding the BMW in the background. Around towards turn 2 they come. So Ritson, he's had enough of following the Mercedes. He looks to the inside. They need to not make any contact at all. Mo Ritson almost making it stick. Rodrigo Almeida holding on to that position at the moment. Mo Ritson at the back of that queue. Here's Hugo Sassa under pressure from David Yarn and Daniel Gregor. Just 3 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of the 2023 season for the ADAC GT4 Germany, race 12 of a 12-race season. Can Hugo Sassa hold on to that 3rd place? They've had the #1 Pro Sport Aston Martin in that position for much of the race, and now they just need to hold on for less than 3 minutes plus 1 lap. David Yarn going to be trying every trick that he can to get past car #1. Daniel Gregor just hanging in the background, ready to jump if these two cars get together. Out onto the pit straight they come, and once again, Kronberg, Kairov, and then this, the fight for the last of the podium positions. The drivers who successfully have defended their championship. Hugo Sassa, David Yarn behind him. Then it is Daniel Gregor. Tim Reiter quite a long way back, so he's not going to be a threat. Mark Di Fulgentio is behind Tim Reiter. Then it is the car 66 of Marcus Eichler, done a great job along with Philip Viskirchen on their debut in the ADAC GT4 Germany in 8th place. Nico Hanke and Pavel Lefterov, what a comeback from him. The car that was loitering towards the back early on. David Yarn looks to the outside. Hugo Sassa tries to go the long way around. Sassa just moves across in the Aston Martin. Nothing going on there at the moment. Now, this is going to be the opportunity for David Yarn. Absolutely foot to the floor on this part of the track now. Up towards turn 8 they come, trying to go round the outside. Gregor in the background, not close enough to take advantage if Yarn doesn't make it stick. Now he closes in on his teammate, but still Hugo Sassa holding on to that 3rd place. 1.25 minutes of this race remaining, and then plus 1 lap after that. So a couple more laps remaining in this race. Daniel Gregor watches on the fight for 3rd place. Hugo Sassa still defending from David Yarn. They've broken clear of Tim Reiter, so no threats there. This is it. Gloves off, the fight for 3rd place. They don't need the points. They're just there fighting for the trophy, and Hugo Sassa wants it to add to his already very fat trophy cabinet as a result of lots of wins, especially in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Out across the line we come once more, so the clock is going to strike 0 during this lap for Max Kronberg, so it'll be whatever remains of this lap and then one more after that, and then this season is over in what has been a classic year in ADAC GT4 Germany, a year that has seen car number 1 Hugo Sassa and Mike David Ortmann successfully defend their championship, becoming the first driver pairing ever to do that. Out along the Parabolica, Daniel Gregor fancies a go at car number 1 here, doesn't he? He looks to the inside a little. David Yarn goes to the outside. Now, flat out in towards the hairpin, under braking. Yarn moves across, tries to shut the door, but he can't get it slowed down. The two cars run side by side. It's a drag race out towards turn 7. And David Yarn breaks the heart of Hugo Sassa and Mike David Ortmann by stealing the 3rd place position. Now, can Hugo Sassa do anything about this in what will be about a lap and a quarter of this race? David Yarn up into 3rd place. Now, Sassa would dearly love to have a go at getting back, but now Daniel Gregor is poised and ready for action if any such moves should occur. Meanwhile, Kronberg and Kyrov continue in 1st and 2nd, but this battle for 3rd place continues to rage on. David Yarn has managed to sneak through in the closing stages of this race. Hugo Sassa will be frustrated as he tries to find a route past the Porsche, but he's staring at the back of it at the moment as our race leader comes out of 17 to start his final lap of the race. Out onto the pit straight we come. 1st and 2nd across the line, running very much on their own. They just need to bring it home, but the fight for 3rd place continues. Yarn and Sassa with each other, having another look there. You see David Yarn, he moved to the outside under the heavy braking of the corner, tried to go the long way around. Sassa just took it very gently. He had the traction coming out, but then Yarn absolutely nailing it out of the hairpin towards turn 7. Here comes our race leader, Max Kronberg. 2nd is Marat Kyrov. Good job from him, good and solid in the number 2 car, along with Gabriel Piana. They have not taken the top step of the podium this year. In fact, they've not stood on the podium at all this year in the main race. So this will be a great way to end the season and shows just how much progress Marat Kyrov has taken in the ADAC GT4 Germany. It doesn't look as though Hugo Sassa is going to be able to do anything about David Yarn. But David Yarn, for one moment, it looked like he might have been going slowly, but I think it was just a camera angle. Yarn in that solid 3rd place. Sassa now very much occupied with defending from Daniel Gregor. Gregor looking to sneak through in this, the final lap of the season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. Max Kronberg into the last few corners. Then it's Marat Kyrov. Then David Yarn and Hugo Sassa running together, fighting for position with Daniel Gregor for company as well. But it is Max Kronberg who's into the final couple of corners, looking for his first win in the ADAC GT4 Germany. It's a win for Max Kronberg and Henrik Still for Avia WNS Motorsport. It also gives the team championship to Avia WNS Motorsport. 2nd across the line, a best result for Marat Kyrov and Gabriel Piana. There is Mike David Ortmann cheering Hugo Sassa, who it was David Yarn going slowly. So Sassa did get past to that podium position. Daniel Gregor up into 4th place. So a problem for David Yarn in the absolute closing stages of this race. He crosses the line in 6th place. So it looked like he was going slowly, and Hugo Sassa was able to find a route past and steal back that podium position along with Daniel Gregor. The champions, Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sassa, we had that confirmed yesterday, and they are very much enjoying it with yet another podium. What a way to finish the race. So there it was. David Yarn, he outbraked himself. I think it was, I thought it might have been a puncture or something, but no, he had outbraked himself on the hairpin win. He rejoined but lost a couple of positions, and that was a gift for Hugo Sassa, who was able to sneak through, still the last of the podium positions. Daniel Gregor also coming through into fourth. Oh dear, at the end of the race, Emil Yedrum leaves the car. He had done all the hard work, down in 23rd place, and he's beached in the gravel, and you can see the frustration. Not the way he wanted to finish his season in the ADAC GT4 Germany. He is under investigation, so I wonder if there's been a bit of contact with somebody else, but car 18 stranded in the gravel, and that is how his season is going to finish. We ride on board with the champions of 2023. They were the champions of 2022. Mike David Ortmann, Hugo Sassa, job done in ADAC GT4 Germany. They take the championship, they retain the championship. I wonder if we're going to see any donuts. We've had them in DTM and GT Masters. With the light fading here, we have to get permission from race control before they're able to do that. So car number 1 for Pro Sport Racing coming round. They were unable to retain the team championship. So just running out wide at the moment, coming back towards the pits. And third place, just the icing on the cake on what has been a phenomenal year for Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sassa, past the stranded Emil Yedrum car. He took over from Lachlan Robinson in the BWT Motorsport Mercedes, and their race has come to that premature end in the gravel. Let's take a look at the result of this race. It's Max Kronberg who takes the win in car number 30, along with Hendrik Still for Avia WNS Motorsport. Marat Kairov, what a great job from him. You can see how much that means, along with Gabriel Piana taking their first podium ever for Marat Kairov in ADAC GT4 Germany. Gabriel Piana's had a fair few, but Marat Kairov finally gets to taste the podium. And third place, our champions, Hugo Sassa and Mike David Ortmann. So, a first win for car 30, Max Kronberg and Hendrik Still. What a way to finish the season. Unplug yourself before you try and leave the car, sir. So there we go. Now he has been unplugged. Max Kronberg and Hendrik Still celebrate their Hugo Sassa, parking it up for one last time this season. And Mike David Ortmann ready to join his friend. On the roof, Max Kronberg and Hendrik Still alongside each other. Great job bringing it home in first place. They finished 10th. Hendrik Still did in last year's GT4 Championship with a 4th place to Zandvoort Hockenheim. He's raced in the GT Masters for Zach Speed, let's see if I remember rightly, was I'm trying to think who he was alongside there, but the name escapes me. But into GT4 is where he has found his home. There is Hugo Sassa, and cool as a cucumber. They were celebrating last night. I think they're going to be celebrating long into the night tonight. Congratulations to everybody in the pit lane. Right, here we go. It's Max Kronberg, Hendrik Still, Marat Kairov, Gabriel Piana, and Hugo Sassa, Mike David Ortmann, the 1, 2, 3, ahead of Daniel Gregor and Finn Zulaev. Tim Wright and Leon Vaster, a solid driving by them to 5th place, ahead of David Yarn, Yanis Fitcher, Martin Fugentio, and Dennis Bulatov. And then the number 66 car was next with Marcus Eichel and Philip Viskirchen. There are the rest of the results scrolling through. And really solid stuff. Great entertainment. ADAC GT4 Germany is done for another year. It has been a classic year. The championship has been retained by Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sassa. So we look towards the podium, and our champions together onto the podium for 3rd place. Marat Kyrov and Gabriel Piana. Marat Kyrov, who has won the trophy championship as well. Max Kronberg and Henrik Still taking their first win in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Sadly, we haven't been able to see our new junior champion, Simon Connor Prim, today. We wish him all the best. And ADAC WNS Motorsport not only celebrate first place in this race, but they also celebrate first place in the championship. So, the national anthem done. It was Jules Gounon, wasn't it? How could I forget that Henrik Still shared the Zaxpeed Mercedes with in the GT Masters last year. Year before last. How time flies. Winners' trophies are being presented to Max Kronberg and Henrik Still. Gabriel Piana, a driver coach, and he has coached that man there, Marat Kyrov, into being an exceptional driver, but two exceptional drivers who take third place and of course are the champions of ADAC GT4 Germany. Hugo Sasser and Mike David Ortman. ADAC WNS Motorsport receive a team trophy as well, but they will have a bigger trophy coming that way as a result of winning the team championship. But now, first we have the photos for the 1, 2, 3. And then I do believe we're going to see the winners' trophies for the championship being presented. There they are, Mike David Ortman and Hugo Sasser. They won it last year, and now they win it again. The first ever driver duo to successfully retain the ADAC GT4 Championship. Making history, Mike David Ortman and Hugo Sasser for Pro Sport Racing. So, job done for car number 1. The question is, will they and can they come back next year to do it for 3 on the bounce? They are so rapid and so talented. It would be a brave man who would bet against it. I sincerely hope we're going to see them in the ranks of the ADAC GT4 Germany next year. Your new champions, they've retained the title, Mike David Ortman and Hugo Sasser in the ADAC GT4 Germany. The Junior Championship goes the way of Simon Connor Prim. The Trophy Championship goes the way of Marat Kyrov, and the Team Championship goes the way of ADAC WNS Motorsport, the team that have brought 4 cars to the grid this weekend, and they win the Team Championship in the 2023 GT4 Germany Championship run by the ADAC. As we look down at the celebrations, there is the driver classification at the end. It was Dennis Bulletov who sealed that 2nd place. David Yarn and Yanis Fitcher in 3rd place. And that moment at the end of the race, it cost them some points, but it didn't make any difference in the grand scale of things. And Simon Connor Prim in 4th place as well. It rounds out what has been a spectacular year for the ADAC GT4 Germany. We're going to have a bit of a break now, but we're going to be back again next year. Look out for the dates on the ADAC website. We do hope you've enjoyed ADAC GT4 Germany 2023. We'll see you next year to do it all again. ADAC Germany 2024 is coming your way. We'll see you next year. Bye-bye.